You know these classic tracks by heart, but the stories behind them are pure chaos. From master tapes erased by mistake to a rock star who traded the spotlight for a goat farm.
25.
These 10 artists never matched that one massive song again.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, honey. Don't you know that?
Number 10. Stories, Brother Louie. Stories released Brother Louie in 1973 after a few early singles went nowhere. It shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies. It was a cover of a Hot Chocolate track about an interracial romance, transformed into a tense funk vamp driven by Kenny Aronson's Motown-inspired bass line and singer Ian Lloyd's raspy theatrical delivery. But the band was already falling apart. Founding keyboardist Michael Brown was gone before the song became their defining hit. Lloyd stayed for one more album before leaving. The remaining members kept it going, but their next single, a cover of Mammy Blue, only reached number 50. After that, Stories never came close to the top 40 again. By 1974, Stories was finished. The next band had one hit before their singer-guitarist went to another band on this list. Number 9. Blues Image, Ride, Captain, Ride.
Ride, Captain, ride, upon your mystery ship.
The opening lyric came from a piano. Mike Pinera locked himself in a bathroom to meditate during a rushed session, walked out, sat at a Fender Rhodes Model 73, and let the number of keys inspire the first line. 73 men sailed up from the San Francisco Bay. Ride, Captain, Ride hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies. But by the time the single took off, Pinera was already gone. He had joined Iron Butterfly after Eric Brand left, just as Ride, Captain, Ride was climbing the charts. The remaining members brought in guitarist Ken Henry and singer Denny Carell, but the follow-up, Gas Lamps and Clay, only reached number 81. Their third album, Red, White, and Blues Image, was made up mostly of leftovers and went nowhere. Blues Image didn't last much longer. Next, a band built around a hit that already existed. Number 8. Ram Jam, Black Betty.
Black Betty, bam lamb, whoa, Black Betty, bam lamb, Black Betty had a child, bam lamb.
Ram Jam didn't start as a real band. Bill Bartlett, former guitarist of the bubblegum pop group The Lemon Pipers, had recorded a rock arrangement of the old work song Black Betty with his band Starstruck, based on Leadbelly's version. New York producers Jerry Kassenetz and Jeffrey Katz heard it, formed a new band around Bartlett called Ram Jam, and released the Starstruck recording as Ram Jam's debut single. The new lineup, recruited for the rest of the album, didn't actually play on the hit. The NAACP and the Congress of Racial Equality called for a boycott, saying the song was insulting to black women. But the boycott failed. Black Betty hit number 18 in the US and cracked the top 10 in the UK and Australia. Their second album flopped, and Ram Jam didn't last much longer. The massive hit had been cut before the project even existed, and when the follow-up records failed, the whole thing collapsed. The next massive hit almost got erased before it was released. Number 7. Ides of March, Vehicle. One wrong button almost killed this song before it was born. During a background vocal session, a second engineer accidentally erased 14 seconds of the master tape. The band's saving grace was the first take. They found the same section from an earlier take, spliced it into the master, and most listeners never noticed. Vehicle became the fastest-selling single in Warner Brothers history at the time, peaking at number 2 on the Hot 100. Warner Brothers suddenly needed an album fast. so the band had to rush back into the studio and build a full LP around the hit. But none of their follow-up singles cracked the top 40. By late 1973, their first run was over. And even though radio moved on, frontman Jem Peterick didn't. He went on to co-found Survivor and co-write Eye of the Tiger. The next massive hit on our list was actually a B-side. Number 6, Looking Glass. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
There's a girl in this harbor town. She works.
Brandy was originally buried as the B-side to Don't It Make You Feel Good. It only broke out because Epic promotion man Robert Mandel took a test pressing to Harv Moore at WPGC, the leading top 40 station in Washington, D.C., and urged him to listen past the failed A-side. Moore put Brandy into a 1-hour rotation for 2 days, and the switchboard lit up like a Christmas tree.
Brandy wears a braided chain made of finest.
Within 2 weeks, it was the #1 record in D.C. before a single copy had been sold in stores. The song went to #1 nationally, but it trapped the band in an identity crisis. Looking Glass was a tougher 4-piece bar band playing clubs and fraternity houses. Audiences bought tickets expecting the polished pop vocals they heard on the radio and were disappointed when the band played their heavier tracks. Lurie left in 1974. The remaining members kept going, first as Looking Glass, then Fallen Angels, before evolving into the hard rock band Stars.
At night, when the bars close down.
Next up, a drunken mistake gives a massive hit its name. Number 5, Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, honey. Don't you know that?
Organist-vocalist Doug Engel played a slow country ballad for drummer Ron Bushy after drinking an entire gallon of Red Mountain wine. He slurred his intended title, In the Garden of Eden, so badly that Bushy wrote it down phonetically. The 17-minute studio master wasn't planned either. When the band arrived at the studio, engineer Don Casal asked them to play through the song so he could set his levels.
Please take my hand.
He hit record without telling them, and their run-through became the master take. The edited single hit number 30 on the Hot 100, while the full version became a legend on late-night FM radio. The album sold more than 4 million copies in the U.S. and stayed on the charts for 140 weeks. But the song outlived the lineup. Guitarist Eric Brand was still a teenager when the hit was recorded, and the pressure around the band got ugly fast. Engel left in 1971, and Iron Butterfly's first run was over. We're entering the top 4, where the hits got bigger and the endings got stranger. Our next frontman used to leave venues with actual scorch marks on their ceilings. Number 4, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Fire.
Fire. I'll take you to burn.
Arthur Brown performed with a flaming metal headpiece strapped to his head. At one show, the flame got out of control, and 2 bystanders had to throw their beers on his head to save him. And that was only part of the act. Fire hit number 1 in the UK and number 2 in the US. But behind the flames, the group was coming undone.
You're gonna burn.
Drummer Drunken smashed an album acetate against a wall because he thought the record had been softened with strings and overdubs. Organist Vincent Crane suffered a severe breakdown after, according to Brown, being spiked with LSD and spent months in a mental hospital. Crane came back, but the band never really recovered. In 1969, Crane and drummer Carl Palmer quit and formed Atomic Rooster. Palmer later joined Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But Arthur Brown never had another hit.
You're gonna burn.
Our next band had a hit they could barely play live. Number 3, Thunderclap Newman, Something in the Air. Thunderclap Newman was assembled by Pete Townsend and Kit Lambert from 3 musicians who had never played together. Townsend's driver and songwriter Speedy Keen, a 15-year-old guitar prodigy, and an eccentric telephone engineer who played jazz piano. Townsend produced the track and played bass under the pseudonym Bijou Drains. Keen wrote and sang Something in the Air, and the song went to number 1 in the UK. But there was a problem. The band could barely play live. When they were sent on tour, one hostile crowd threw coins and booed them off stage after 15 minutes. Rehearsals fell apart so badly that Townsend screamed at them to get it together. Even the expanded touring lineup started cracking almost immediately. They managed 1 album. By late 1971, Thunderclap Newman was over. The teenage guitar prodigy, Jimmy McCulloch, went on to join Wings before dying from drug-related heart failure in 1979 at age 26.
We got to get together sooner or later.
The next hit was recorded in a cow pasture. Number 2, Zager and Evans, in the year 2525.
2525.
Rick Evans wrote In the Year 2525 in 1964. The duo didn't record it until 1968 at a small studio in a cow pasture in Odessa, Texas. They released it on a tiny independent label called Truth Records. Lincoln Area Radio pushed it hard, and the record started selling locally. Then RCA Records signed them and took it national. The song hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on July 12, 1969, 8 days before the Apollo 11 moon landing.
In the year 55, your arms are hanging.
And stayed there for 6 weeks. Its dystopian predictions about technology destroying humanity captured the anxious, forward-looking mood of a summer defined by Vietnam, the moon landing, Woodstock, and Cold War dread. One critic joked that it sounded like it had been composed by a computer at the Rand Corporation. Their follow-up flopped. 2 more albums came and went. By 1971, Zager and Evans were done. Denny Zager became a guitar builder in Nebraska. Rick Evans moved quietly out of public view and died in 2018.
Yesterday, in the year 25.
The artist at number 1 left the rock star life for a goat farm. Number 1, Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky. Norman Greenbaum was a Jewish kid from Massachusetts who wrote a gospel rock song about Jesus after watching Porter Wagner sing a religious song on television. The title came from a greeting card. The words came in 15 minutes. His label didn't know what to do with it. They thought it was too long and too religious for pop radio. The fuzz came from a custom fuzz box a friend built directly into his Fender Telecaster. He finger-picked the riff through a Fender Twin Reverb with heavy reverb. The Stovall Sisters, an Oakland gospel group, added backing vocals, tambourines, and hand claps. Spirit in the Sky hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then, Greenbaum vanished from the charts. His later records never came close. By the late 1970s, he was out of the hit-making business. He lived on a goat farm. He worked his way from cooking hamburgers to sous chef to restaurant kitchen manager. But he never stopped collecting royalties. The song he wrote in 15 minutes has been paying off for over 50 years. That's our list. 10 massive hits. No second lightning strike. Which disappearance surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more strange rock history, grab our rock trivia book below. It's packed with forgotten stories, wild facts, and backstage weirdness from the classic rock era. Thanks for watching.